Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Sunday. Going into an insane trading week. Stuff every day. So we will get to that in a second. By the way, this is Mike Arnold, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacino. Hey, how you doing, Patrick? Good afternoon, Josh. Evening, Charles. Good evening, Sashi. Hello, Martinez. Have I taken the puppies for a ride in the new car? No, they have not gone for a ride. I've been swamped this weekend, and the electrician just left. Like literally he got done at 2:53. It's now 3:05. In running the new circuit. So I haven't even had time. I still got to clean up a ton of stuff. This is going to be probably a little shorter live stream because I have a lot still to do and I am so far behind. Hey, Gary, thanks for asking, Patrick. Hey, Gary, thank you for being here. Good evening, APs. Well, I hope it's a nice, pleasant snowfall. Good evening, Anissa. We have snow here, so it feels very festive. Well, we have no snow on the ground here. We have none. None. We did get snow the other day, but it did not manage to stick. All right. Happy Sunday, Options 22. So, you know what? Let's just get right down to it. We got so much going on. I'm glad. Thank you, everybody, again for tuning in. By the way, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. That's where we'll leave it right now. Don't want to need to waste anybody's time on a Sunday. Tomorrow, by the way, there is pretty much not anything coming out, but there are earnings and we'll take a look at that in a second. But consumer inflation expectations, this number is going to be very minor. So that's nothing. But starting Tuesday, December 13th, Tuesday the 13th, we have the CPI numbers. Biggie. 1 hour before the open. Minor is the NFIB Business Optimism Index. It'll be just interesting to see where that resides. But this is going to be big. Remember, PPI coming in hotter than expected. So we're going to see if it translated to more CPI higher or not. And pay more attention to the month-over-month numbers. Do not focus on year-over-year because we're going to start getting into that base effect. Month-over-month is going to be key. Still projected for headline and core as 0.3% up. And everything else is minor on Tuesday. Wednesday, we got, of course, the crude numbers for oil traders, but we have the FOMC. Let me just jump to here real quick. Still, that 50 basis point, I expect this to climb, especially after the CPI numbers, but this is baked in. So we're going to get that. So the big thing is 50 basis points on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central, but 1:30, so 30 minutes after, or 2:30 Eastern, the press conference is going to be major. Remember, no rate hike in January. The next one happens to be February 1st, but this will give guidance. Are they going to keep stepping down into the rate hike? So are they going to step down again for Feb? Then Thursday, we have the Bank of England. We have the ECB. It's not on this list. I did not have time to add it into the list, but we have Bank of England and ECB with their rate hikes. And then we go into retail sales, unemployment, and then minor is the NY, Empire State Manufacturing Index, the Fed Philly Index. Then we got industrial production. Then we got business inventories. Now, the big thing's going to be the retail sales and jobless claims Thursday morning, and the ECB and Bank of England rate hike decisions. So do not fall asleep on Thursday. We got more key earnings, at least one after the close on Thursday. And then Friday, Friday. Not listed here. We'll get in that in a second, but we got composite flash manufacturing services flash numbers for S&P Global. Still going to see how much those are in contraction, but the bigger thing on Friday is quad witching, quarterly OpEx, the biggest one of the year. So that's going into Friday. Oof. It's a week, and this is not a week to go to sleep. The week after, I'm counting on things, slowing down. But just recap from Friday, Tesla up, everything else pretty much red, oil and energy taking in the shorts. Finally, a little pullback in healthcare. And some of the mega caps, Amazon being the biggest mega cap that was down. You see energy was the biggest sector that was down. And over the last week, there was no green sectors. In the month still, and over the last month, technology has still been holding up the best. But in the last week, everything took it in the shorts. With energy leading the move down there, with almost hitting our second long-term weekly double top projection or target. Remember, we are still, I already went over this, but that 50 basis point, nearly 80%, fear and greed. This keeps bouncing back between greed and neutral. We'll just go with right there on the cusp with this little pullback, maybe dropping it into neutral. And your overall, the other current market valuation still in the upper end of fairly valued, with the yield curve being overvalued, the yield curve model. Buffett indicator fairly modeled, PE ratio overvalued. See, so this last rally, even with this pullback, has been, because we saw some earnings contraction overall, but so this has been a multiple expansion. This last rally, are we going to continue to get multiple expansion? Because earnings should be dropping fourth quarter and first and probably second quarter of next year. So all this rally has been pricing in is through multiple expansions. Interest rates fairly valued, margin debt and undervalued, mean reversion fairly valued. So that's where we sit with there. In terms of earnings, not much tomorrow morning, but do not ignore Oracle after the close tomorrow. That's the biggie. Tuesday, not much. Wednesday, I guess if you're a grilling fanatic, you got Weber and you got Lennar for home stuff after the close, but that's a quiet day. Thursday, not much before. Remember, we're at the tail end of earnings season, but do not ignore Adobe after the close on Thursday. And then Friday, you got Accenture and Winnebago. Gonna go on a trip. All right. Well, there you go. You should be happy. Dallas wins, Gary. Charles is switching off until January after the 22nd. We'll be watching from the sidelines. Of course, I'll be tuning in. Well, thank you for keep tuning into the live streams, Charles. Yep, JP Morgan, thank you for pointing that out. The earnings season 4. The next phase is mid-January, and Charles put it right in here. The 13th of January for next year. All right. You can see still an up close on Friday. I can pull off these short-term things. Still an up close. Rotation zone's gone flat. Key levels are still this 39. Let's give you the exact 39.16. This low was 39.12.5. I'm going off 39.12.5 as the lowest one, 39.14, 39.16, 39.12.5. So our breakdown level, that would take us back below the 50. The reverse harmonics stay the same, so that's the key level to start watching for midweek. Other than that, we filled the gap that we had Thursday going into Friday with the futures. Daily cycles are at the bottom, but weekly cycles still at the top and rolling over. So, little mix there on cycles, but weekly take precedence over the daily, but I'm not getting aggressively short with anything go until we break that 39.12. And that could be a quick trip down. a quick trip down. The minor levels 38.89, 39.65, and 38.36, 38.35 area. And then below that, let me just put this on here for the bigger picture in case people can't tune in. Oops. I'm going to have to flip that again. Your next major area should we sell off would be between 38.06 and 37.30 to watch for a bounce if we do break below 39.12. And on a closing basis, you're watching 37.30. Why you close below there, we should possibly see a retest of the lows. But those are the key levels I am utilizing. So for going into tomorrow, our overnight session tonight, you can see we filled the gap. The area I'm going to use for a targets for overnight and going into the 7:30 time frame tomorrow Central, 39.95 to 4K to the upside. My support level is coming in about 39.55 to 39.52. We break below 39.52. If we start getting downwards pressure, I'm going to about 39.27 for my support. So that's everything I'm watching overnight. And of course, we'll recap things tomorrow morning or before the market opens. But just in case you can't tune in, above 4K would be 4,038.75. Remember, do not ignore on a closing basis 4,037.25. Why? If we close above there, I'm shifting to more bullish mode, very short term, because the probability shift to retesting is 40.85 to 41.10 area. So we have a pretty decent roadmap. Everything between 40.37 and 39.12 is no man's land and is short-term trading for me. Below 39.12 shifts me into aggressive bear mode. Above 4,037.25 on a closing basis takes me into very short-term bull mode. Remember, we have so much stuff coming out this week, it might have to be very nimble trading. That's why I'm listing my very key levels. And if you look here sort of from a bigger perspective, I take off some of these levels. You see here, since CPI Thursday, look, you're in, the volatility's been expanding. It's sort of a megaphone pattern going out, which I'm not going to put on here. But look where we closed CPI Thursday, you know, when last inflation figures came in better. We're just closing Friday slightly above that. So we're virtually flat from the close on CPI Thursday. Yes, it's been up. Yes, it's been down. But virtually flat. That's why I'm not getting overexcited until we break down or until I have some probability shift. And even though shift on the short terms would be just retargeting the high area from the beginning of December. In order for me to get more bullish, we need to start taking out that highs from the beginning of December. I hope that makes sense. That's my exact roadmap. You should be on the March contract. We rolled from December to March on Friday. You should be on March now. March 23. The ESH3 or 3H, depending on your platform. But it's always H and it's always 3. Okay? The roll now, the contract does not expire till this Friday, so if you had the roll on Monday or Tuesday, you're still fine. But if you carry it into Friday, you're going to get cash settled. The big roll day was Friday, though. And TradingView does show it now on their charts. You can see We rolled from ESZ to ESH. I have that up there. I've added it to the charts just for clarifying with people. Yeah, so do that rollover. You know, and I always like to do it during a dull period in the market. If I'm manually rolling, I just do it during lunch or something when it's because you're not going to have to worry about any real slippage or any real volatility coming in to catch you off guard. NAS, or it depends on your broker. If it does an auto rollover, some brokers just do the auto rollover, or you can specify auto rollover. NAS, no, this is not. I see you put that in. No, it's not a potential head and shoulders. This is a double shoulder. And this was way too high. This technically qualifies as a very sloppy double top that was confirmed. It has not been triggered. So, from a triggering perspective, on a daily close, I need a daily close below 11,465. From an intraday break that gets me with momentum, I need a break below 11,422.50. Why different? Because we could technically not break this and close and trigger the double. But if we start getting sell-off intraday below this low from Wednesday the 7th, I'm shifting more bearish, and then I'm really bearish on a closing basis, okay, in case we don't get that snapback. The major targets from that double are still 11,159, 11,006, 10,853. So you know it tips me into bearish mode. Bullish mode. Right above Friday's highs on a closing basis, 11,874. Once the markets open back up for Asian and European sessions, 11,814. So 11,8 to 11,814. We filled the gap fully. But if we break down, my targets are 11,590 to 11,600. And then below that, 11,472. Then we go to the other level. So that's my roadmap. Right now, no man's land. Trigger the double top or intraday with momentum break below Wednesday's lows, bearish. We stay in this range. It's day to day, intraday trading only. We get a close above 11,874. We should, probability-wise, see a return to about 12,050 to possibly 12,145. There's the roadmap. Ninja's your execution platform because that Ninja can try. Unless, do they have brokerage now? I forgot. Because you can also use them as I use Ninja Trader too. You can use them as an execution platform with different brokerages. I don't remember. Are they clearing now too? Because I'm not with them. Let me know if this roadmap stuff, the way I'm talking, sort of helps with my short-term versus longer-term stuff. The Dow on the closing basis, 34,240, shifts me in the short-term bullish mode. Bearish mode is below 33,460 on a closing. It can break intraday, but then it needs to close below that. And my major target on a breakdown for the Dow, minor would be about 32,850, the rising 50. More major would be 32,450, where we have the flat 200. Russell, remember we did trigger the double back on Tuesday, the 6th. Little return for even better entry. Remember, I watched the candle bodies. Little return with the declining rotation zone and the breakdown level. 1779, 1778 first target, 1756, 1735. Can't get into anything. Here's my bullish areas, which would shift me because it would be the stop. And I'm using aggressive, ratcheting the stop down aggressively. I keep drawing these the wrong way again because I flipped the thing to reverse. My key level is now 1869 on a closing basis. I would shift, that would be above the daily 200 again and above the 62.5. Then I'd look for a retest of this recent high area. That's my bullish, very short term, unless we get another pattern before that, which we don't. This is, you can see here, we had a little mini potential, it's almost off, and then it's definitely a triple that broke with Friday's close and the end. Mike, up is now down. Yeah, the down is the new up and up is the new down. There we go. DAX, you see here, the DAX, look at this. Look at this key level at that first target. 14,218. What was the low? This 14,215, 14,215, 14,197, and right in front of that level. So this is key. You break this level, 14,159, 14,100. So that's still the same. Can't shift into anything bullish. My first warning sign is about 14,350. My key is if we get a close above 14,400. Notes. Yes, we still have a potential double top. Below 113.21.5 is the closing price, and it is lower probability since it's against the daily rotation zone. But that shifts me to short-term bearish. Short-term bullish, we'd have to get a close roughly back above about 114.23. If you want conservative, it would be 114.25. Dollar index, I'm watching for a bottoming pattern. Yes, we do have a potential double bottom here. Would be a trigger on a close back above 104.87. So that's the key level that takes me in short-term bullish mode, and it is slightly lower probability because it's against the daily rotation zone. And cycles are at the top. So theoretically, we could see a more pullback, but any pullback still within this range still holds for a potential double. If we do break down overnight, I'm watching for, now see, we did not get a close below 62.5, but if we break down overnight, it would be a retest of 104.14, then 103.91. VIX, we'll just take a look at this tomorrow night, but I'm watching Thursday's high and low for either my breakout or breakdown level since we had an inside bar Friday. Crude, I'm considering the second target hit from my perspective because we bottomed just in front of it and just in front of the whole number, which that's where my target, when I see the target I talked about before, just behind the whole number, like 69, what was it? 69... like 80 or 69, 87. I raised my target just in front of that whole number. We got to 70.08. But I'm starting to watch for any minor bounce play to take me back into the rotation zone. Natty Gas filled the gap. I'm still watching for more bullish upside in Natty Gas. If you're trying to play this from a short-term perspective, boy, I'm going to have to flip that back. 675 is your key closing price that I'm watching on there. Gold, I'm keeping an eye. We do have a potential double top. Close below 1778. I watch for the pullback, especially to the 50. Nothing yet with the yens. There's no strong pattern just yet. But euro, potential double top, and pound, potential double top. So I'm keeping an eye on them, and those would be short-term reversals. Bitcoin, still sitting in this channel. Nothing to talk about there. Charles is looking at copper this week. for a topping pattern if it doesn't remain bullish, similar with gold, but cautious about trading it before CPI and FOMC. And I gave you the gold one. For copper, remember, we've triggered a longer-term bull pattern. We do have a short-term mini double top against the 200. So if you're trading this, Charles, short-term, you're going to be wanting to use 377.50, 377.5 as a key level. And if you close above there, even at the 4-hour qualifies it. It's a little, but you know, you get a close blow here. You could potentially see a pullback to 365 area. So pay attention to that. And that would take it back to the 50 and this little double breakout area. That's the only minor bearish thing. By the way, this is not a bigger double top. Why not? Because if it were to trigger, this is too much of a hitch in here. And your second target goes below it. I would just watch if it does break down for a retest of this low area. That would be my targets. All right, Charles, so there's your copper analysis. Be careful, though, from a bearish perspective. If we start breaking above the 200 again, you could easily see the runs of that first target on the bullish bottoming pattern of 405 if you're looking for shorts. Question, triple tops and bottoms. Triples are slightly continuation patterns. It's only by a couple percentage points. So it's not something I just go triple bottom. I got a lot of odds in my favor. That's where they only are slight. I will still list them off as slight continuation patterns, but I don't trade triples because I don't need just a 2% probability advantage or 3%. I want much higher probability advantages than 2 or 3%. So just a triple in itself, that's why you don't see me trade. And also the targets are very unreliable. So that's why I will use clear path targets, and it's essentially just trading a breakout or a breakdown at that point. What's the probability of continuation price action versus price action resembling a double bottom? Well, double tops and bottoms are, if they're the lower probability area, they can be in the upper 50s. To the higher probability area, they can be over 70%, depending on your rotation zones on the daily and weekly. I will easily take something in the 60s to 70% probabilities all day long, especially once I can get proper reward to risk. Triples being 52%, no, that's a coin toss. So there's your huge difference. I have no idea how many pension funds are short on funds. Charles likes the 5 to 90 minutes. Do you know your sweet spot, Charles? What do you believe is the safest place to buy crypto? Well, it doesn't matter where you buy it. I wouldn't hold it on. Well, if you're in the US, I just use, Coinbase or something else, but you don't hold it. Do not hold it on any exchange. At this point, I think it's taking on severe risk if you're trying to hold it on any exchange. I immediately move any crypto stuff to an off-exchange hardware wallet. I've done that before. I've shown right here. It's my ledger. My hardware wallet. Nothing sits on an exchange. Nothing. I mean, unless you're doing a couple quick trades in and out. So I don't care. I mean, if you can execute and roll off the exchange, that's what I got to do. Because I don't care really. I mean, I have Coinbase accounts, but I keep nothing on exchanges. Nothing. Zero. Zip. Nada. Yeah, that's why I don't stress options. That's why I don't stress triples. They're just breakdown and plays, and you're better to do short-term analysis. You just don't go, oh, I got a triple. That's a guaranteed to go with a trend. It doesn't give you enough of a break. That's why I'm going to do further analysis. I want a clear path move. I want a bunch of other stuff. It's not just do not rely on triples. You can do stuff on interactive brokers with crypto. That's fine. If you want to leave it, yeah, I guess you can. I don't leave my stuff anywhere. You can do interactive brokers is still, they're not going to steal your crypto. I have very little trust, though, with anything relating to it now. So I move my stuff off. Okay, but yes, if I was forced to pick something, interactive brokers, because they're so big with futures, stocks, they're not just in crypto, they're not going to rip people off. They would never risk their business model. So I still don't like keeping anything out there anymore. Nothing. Once we get this garbage and trash flushed out, I might consider it again, but not where stuff sits now. That's just me. All right. I'm going to call it a shorter session. You had an Electrum wallet once upon a time, and there's good dual wallets. I'm not pushing any specific brand. I'm just saying, you know what? I like hardware wallet. It sits with me, and that's it. That is it. All right. Well, you're very welcome, Chris. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I will be back. Again, this is not, until we start getting some stuff out of the way this week, do not get chopped, especially tomorrow, Monday, or overnight tonight. Do not get chopped because everything's such a critical position. That's my overall advice. You're welcome, Anissa. I need a mafia name. I don't know. You'll have to ask Bob to assign me a mafia name. You're welcome, Charles. You know what? Let's just end. You know what? Let's just end this session. Maybe, are we going to get that out of the markets this week? The old duck fall? Are we doing a downward duck fall market? I shall talk to everyone tomorrow. Have a fantastic rest of your evening. And no, we don't want to murder Mike. Hey, Stafford from the end of the show, joining us at the tail end. Thank you for being here. You got to come up with a better one than Murder Mike. That just doesn't give me a warm fuzzy, Chris. We don't want to murder Mike. All right. With that, have a great evening. Bye for now.